Breathe away, let it leave. Echoes bloom, soft and slow. Take the deepest breath of the day. Feel the weight start to slip away. Count it slow now, 1, 2, 3. Let it rise like a tide at sea. Let it go, feel it flow. Take the deepest breath of the day. 10 out of 11, 10 and 9. Hold it close, let it align. Take the deepest breath of the day. Let it go. Let it go. Feel the rush as the seconds fall. Heartbeat echoes down the hall. Inhale stars, exhale night. Wrap yourself in electric light. Let it go. Feel it glow. Take the deepest breath of the day. 10 out of 11, 10 out of 9. Hold it close, let it align. Take the deepest breath of the day. Let it go. Let it go. Take the deepest breath of the day. Feel the weight start to slip away. Count it slow now, 1, 2, 3. Let it rise like a tide at sea. Hold, let it go. Feel it flow. Take the deepest breath of the day. 10 out of 11, 10 out of 9. Hold it close, let it align. Take the deepest breath of the day. Hold, let it go. Feel the rush as the seconds fall. Heartbeat echoes down the hall. Inhale stars, exhale night. Wrap yourself in electric light. Hold, let it go. Feel it glow. Take the deepest breath of the day. 10 on 11, 10 on 9. Hold it close, let it align. Take the deepest breath of the day. Hold, let it like a kite caught in the sky. Hold it still, let it fly. 10 not 11, 10 not 9. Time's a rhythm, not a straight line. Hold, 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 let it go, go, go. Catch the wave, let it flow. Hold, 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 let it go, go, go. Breathe in time, let it show.
For God's sake, it's like when it's going to go to work tomorrow.
The clock's a whisper, not a shout. Ticking softly in and out. The world's a loop, not a race. Spinning circles, find your space. Hold, 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 let it go, go, go. Catch the wave, let it flow. Hold, 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 let it go, go, go. Breathe in time, let it show. Feel the air, it's electric. Feel the calm, it's magnetic. 10 seconds to find the glow. Now let it go, go, go. Take the deepest breath of the day. Feel it climb, feel it sway. Like a kite caught in the sky. Hold it still, let it fly. 10, 9, 11, 10, 9. Time's a
The earth.
The deepest breath of the day. Hold for 10 seconds, 10, 9, 11, 10, 9, 9. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Stop thinking it's your problems. The more I think, the more you speak, the further from the truth you will be. Take the deepest breath of the day. Hold for 10 seconds, 10, 9, 11, 10, 9, 9. Let it go, let it go.
Yeah, go ahead.
So just listen to him while he's speaking. Like, chill.
My bad. I apologize.
So you smart. So the other people over here smarter and they wealthier. And other people they come over here, they gotta spend you say $700 a year for education, which is cool. That's I guess it's pretty good. Would you go back to your homeland, Europe, and then go grab 7,000 other people and say, hey, let's go over here? Knowing you might not know, or you may know, those who you bring over may be cuckoo crazy to do some stupid shit, which you didn't want to do, but they did it, and then it sparked chaos. And then years down the line, they go back and go get some more people within months, within that year. They get more and more people and bring them back, and they start doing the same thing. Not what you did the first time. You came over, got your education, went back to go get you some more friends, 1,000, probably 100, I don't care. But you went back and got them, brought them 1,000 back over here. But out of them 1,000, there's probably half of them who saw our women and, killed off the men, enslaved the children.
Took our women. Go ahead.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So now, they raped our women, had kids by them, or probably so-called fell in love. And, anyway, so.
And took everything else, told you he wasn't, say it again.
Yeah, took everything. Like you said, killed off the men. Now it's a mixed multi-nation. In that world that was thriving by itself with its own people, even it probably had another mixed race and nation of people, but they was mixed, they was cool, even though they had their disagreements. But your people come along and just destroyed everything. And then they start making books and receipts about what they did, videos, and then later on down the line, the kids end up, the generation, the descendants.
I'll be honest with you, the truth, you got long-winded, right? But I'll be honest with you, you're actually agreeing with Jeremy, because Jeremy been saying his people been coming along and been doing this shit. You're like, yeah, y'all speaking the same fucking language, Dwayne? Okay, he been saying that shit to us all the time, but I don't know if he telling. Yeah, you think he good? All right, Jeremy, it's your floor.
I wanted to hear Dean's full submission. I was listening to him.
Yeah, but you did though now, but years, generation down the line, the people that you brought over, they doing the things that you didn't do. You came and got your education, right? But they didn't. They just came to just terrorize shit. You know what I'm saying? Became terrorists and then bred more terrorists, brought more terrorists, and now the world that those people.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with this shit. You know how you see the truth talking? It doesn't sound stupid to us, right? Us melanated people. But people outside.
I think what he's saying is brilliant.
See? But outside of the race, the way he talking, it sounds like very smart to us, right? It's very fluent. But you just don't know how we talk, and then you start like categorizing. And
but hold on, brother,
No.
Hold on. Everything he said was brilliant. I understood everything he said, and I was going to ask a question that was a little bit nuanced, right? Because the truth, I don't think that we disagree on almost anything. with the exception of the following, right? And just for clarity, I'm a high school dropout. And I'm not contradicting what you're saying. I'm just saying, despite the fact that I'm a high school dropout, yeah, my white privilege and generational wealth has resulted in me being, pretty well off in life, right? And the truth, this is where I think I want to ask you a question, is that I've been privileged enough to know about white privilege, and I've been privileged enough to know about everything you just said to be true. But also, since I've been born, I haven't chosen to whatever extent I've had free will to choose to oppress the people who don't have the same privilege that I have. I've taken my knowledge and I've decided, hey, based on what I think is right or wrong, I'm going to go out there and at least call out the fucking imbalance. I'm going to try and in whatever way I can to try and level shit up in every way, shape, and form.
I got this then. So you can't level, like, equal it out on other people's landscape. You gotta put them people back up where they was at. They was over the people who came over here. You know what I'm saying? You can't make it even. You gotta tell those folks who came over here, y'all gotta go. You and your descendants gotta go. Or y'all what y'all ancestors had took back, or fathers, and the contracts that they so-called made, you can go on who like, hey, one at a time, bam, here go y'all stuff. This is y'all's because it's written on record. From the first president of y'all Europeans all the way down to you now, because you the president now.
Can I ask you something, the truth? If you were born, and I know this, but I'm just trying to understand, because this is genuinely, like, listen, this is literally what I want to know as a privileged white cracker, fucking high school dropout, all that shit, right?
That corny shit, Jeremy, stop it. Drop it,
But I'm
bro.
trying to give context. So the truth, if you were born into white privilege, right, you were just popped out of a white vagina, and despite the fact that you can't even get out of high school, you're privileged and shit, and you're a smart guy, you manage to be successful, right? And in the white world, and you believe that white people have fucked shit up. You in your knowledge, you know that there's a disproportionate amount of African Americans who do not have the opportunity you have. What would you do?
Once I learn about the history of that, and I know who I am, I think I'm gonna give the black folks the chance that they never had before by giving my money to them, by telling them, yeah, okay, look. They go a job or here go this money because I know they're gonna have to come back and spend the money with me if I got to be with it. Or I'll just sign a nice amount of people up so that when I die, they can get that land, that business, every damn thing that really belonged to me, which was really theirs from the beginning because I came over to their land and I got money off of them. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What can I do with it? It's theirs anyway.
No, I feel that. And so let me put this forward. What if I told you that because of where I live, I pay, like, the money that I take in as a privileged white, high school dropout that's doing all right, 54% of the dollars that I bring in goes towards making sure that poor people, disproportionately, minorities, get access to the same education that my wealthy white daughters get. They get the same access to the health care, the same quality of health care that my wealthy white daughters get. And it doesn't cost them anything. Nothing.
I got you. Hey, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
Hey, man, I got to pay rent next month, right? And I'm short on cash. Can you send me some cash? I got cash. Do you?
So yeah, I'll answer that. And this is something that I've told a lot of people, right? What I can share with people is my knowledge, right? My privilege, right? And so one of the things that I've spent much of my career learning about, and it's a really hard thing, but it's something that can unlock generational wealth for so many people, is Bitcoin. The truth. And brother, let me just tell you this. My Lord and Savior is Satoshi Nakamoto. My wealth, my generational wealth as a white person has granted me the luck of speaking with prophets who were mentioned in the white paper, my scriptures, my Bible, brother. And so the greatest thing I can do for people who have suffered from generational poverty and slavery is share my knowledge, because nothing, I could pay your rent for 3 months, but that would be nothing compared to me sharing this, brother. So I'll tell you this. You shoot me in my DMs your Bitcoin wallet address, and that takes a little bit of, you gotta learn some shit. But if you learn, well, wait, brother, if you learn that shit, that will unlock generational wealth, and it doesn't matter how stinky your fucking legs are, brother. Long live talking ears.
Shit, for sure.
The screen is ending.
Are not, they're gone. I mean, you find coffins with a whole bunch of tombstones inside, and you find a lot of caskets and cars inside the mountains hidden down under. So this is basically the layer of dead people, dead people, dead people, and dead people. So imagine, what are the trees and what are the plants that are growing out of? Dead people.
Well, that's not bad for the earth. It's bad for us. It's bad for
So when you're eating a marijuana plant, it's the same thing as you turn around saying you're eating a dead person, because it's the same thing. Terraforming. Everything in this place has been terraformed, one way or another.
Yeah, but you could say that about the lettuce. You could say that about carrots.
Yeah, that's what everything that you're eating has been terraformed, one way or another. Imagine how many layers of dead people there've been in there, in the bottom, over and over and over and over. How many resets have we had? They only have counted maybe a couple, but way before, how many have there been? Probably many that we can't even fucking count.
I just read the average woman needs to have 2.7 children for the human race not to go extinct.
Yeah, I don't think it ever go extinct, because then this place, all it does is loosh. We're in a place of looshing. That like all these things cannot exist without having these human body experiences, because they can't hijack. They can't live. They can't survive. Who are they going to loosh off? Who are they going to control? Their parasitic entities need to have a host in order to survive.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's a good take.
This is why it's always the time loop over and over, because, hey, they can. How fun is it to be walking in the body and enjoy all these, experiences of an individual? Apart from all, they can do so much to the body. Anything. It's just like, imagine that. And there's many levels of parasitic entities.
Yeah, they're more jealous than anything to make all these threats and plans of threats, because they can't just be us, so they want to, I don't know,
be inside of people, because that's the only thing. All of that is the only thing. All of that can coexist. It's even
not a competition, and when you try to compete, you immediately lose.
Well, yeah, but try that. Telling that to whatever's stuck in here. And at the end of the day, this thing can fabricate any fucking body if we wanted to, because keep in mind, a legion means that any type of thing that connects in that hive mind, it can have any body we want to. And all it does, it just jumps from one body to another, and it taints everything that's around it. They're all connected to it. It is its eyes and ears at all times. At this point. And it needs to implant it in people's body. And every time they're doing the resets, because people are like, hey, you know what, we need to put more shit in them, because now they're being aware and they're remembering who they are. Once people remember, it doesn't have any power. Because who's he going to control? That means
That's a great point.
It doesn't have, because everything's based on energy, right? Mm-hmm. And people have to understand they got their own power and energy. Everything's always been within.
I just saw a veteran get put on notice for posting something against Israel, saying that he is a threat to, Homeland Security now. And his argument was, I made my allegiance to the United States of America. I did not, in my oath, make an allegiance to another nation. But I just found that so interesting because, yeah, you're right. It's like Legion, where they need to seek a host. But what's so funny, and why I'm not scared or concerned even, is they're all coming towards prayer. Like all these policing, all these laws, all these rules. It's all coming to prayer to stop you from praying in public or in private, and I find that very interesting.
Well, the thing is, everything that you need, it's always been inside. They want you to do everything external. The more you do external shit, the more you're disconnected from your actual source of energy. You have to have your full capacity. They need you to plug into their theories, their frequencies. Every system that has it gives an actual Morse code frequency that affects your body. It's a body that and what do you call it? Anemone in the body, and it messes with your balance. Are you okay? Come on. I can't chase you. Oh, stop running. So you definitely got to be aware of everything. I mean, that's what I just say. I think that thing can't coexist. But I mean, this thing is.
I watched Epstein eat a weird looking cake with books of the Talmud open in front of him, and had a United States Army sweater in the picture. Erica Kirk is really the Ghislaine Maxwell of the United States military. For the new generation, I'm sure there's many others, but she's the forefront mascot, poster child of feeding innocent children to our military servicemen.
It's because those people have to keep on feeding the beast. At the end of the day, they're also slaves to it. They might have the rich life and do all that extra shit, but they still, in a certain level, they're also being manipulated and controlled. They know that this is why they do it, but at the end of the day, they don't know that thing's gonna devour them. They don't even remember half of the shit.
Yeah, I agree with that part. It happens so fast, right? They're in this machine that moves so fast. How could you remember? Then there's another video I saw of Erica Kirk with a child, a daughter, before she met Charlie Kirk in 2015. I'm sure you'll see that surface. But it looks like the children she had with Charlie Kirk may not even be their kids, which is why she's not tending to them.
From one of the last resets that I do remember my full memory, there was what the Atlas did. I'm going to put it out there.
Jim Lifeham getting a little triggered here.
And
we got him.
Sent a whole blue laser. I don't know what it was. It was like a frequency, a blue thing, and it went like a wave. Woof. And that's it. It put everybody to sleep, or it killed everybody. I just remember that shit. That Atlas came down. It had like a violet or blue light, and it was like a flash. Quick.
They said that's what started the Maui fires, but I don't know if I believe that.
Oh,
See,
man.
I don't know. I just remember when that shit happened a long time ago. That craft that came down one time, the same thing as you would say, the fucking Atlas. And I just remember sitting, and I just remember it was quick, and I just saw, I don't know if it was scanned. It was like a whole line, like the whole, I don't know, it just went woof, and that's it. Lights out.
There's a blackout in LA right now that's pretty gnarly. 3i Atlas passed Earth's atmosphere in December 18th. So we don't have to worry about that one anymore.
don't think it's done. Just my perspective and my
Some
opinion.
tongues
I don't
are
think
sick.
I think they're always changing things. It's just depending on how humanity evolves. But I think even that, whatever's stuck here, and I think it's a whole system that has. It's like mechanical. It's like a maze. It's doing the thing that it does every single time. It's just to make sure whatever's here stays here.
I walked in through.
If you ride horses, you might have
And
this.
doesn't buy any land, rents forever.
Because at one point I thought, was this always dark at one point? Because there were stories told, right? Because I think there's an actual land beyond the ice wall. There's a certain part where it said it was always dark, but then they say how it started. In the beginning, everything was all dark. Creation, everything. That means this place was dark at one point.
Yeah, it was probably under ice. Antarctica is that one region that no one's allowed to buy, and it feels like the elite are planning some shit up there, like as a bunker.
Well, if they're always trying to get into Antarctica, wouldn't we think that's where everything originated? And it.
Yes, on this realm, because next to Antarctica, past that is another planetary flatland. Look at that one. Have you seen that map with all the freaking planets that look like Earth and it says Mars over here and all that? That's
Fiscal Dave. I'm talking
gotta be.
about.
It's gotta be that, because here's the thing: they are secretly going after Antarctica like it's nobody's business right now, and that's the entryway. Otherwise, there are entryways to stargates and portals and through the ocean. But Antarctica is probably the place where they're like, okay, you know what I mean? That's the place. That's it. That's
At the bottom of the water. There's two waterways that cross.
Yep.
One of them that's here, and the other one leads you all the way beyond the ice wall.
Right.
And then that's where the guy that discovered. Remember, I think they showed it where the guy discovered underneath that there was another water within the water. That was the other water that leads you to those other lands. And I think there was a military individual, and a story way back then. I think a document. I think the CIA had, where they somehow emerged and they actually went through that water and they ended up through some other weird lands.
Yeah. See? Some weird shit. Yep. Well, probably not weird shit. It's probably, it's weird to us, but yeah.
He says there was creatures that they've never seen. It's just like coming out like if it was upside down, basically upside down world or something.
Mm-hmm.
He said there was creatures of unknown that they've never seen in their life. And it's an old document. I remember reading it. CIA.
Yeah.
The other one, of course, you got the, which is weird. You got an island. Keep in mind, an island of angels. You got an island of angels. You got an island of, which is Baal, and all the other demonic entities that you can think of. They're all in that island. There's also the wasteland. There's also, so keep in mind, if angels live there, because it says that Michael, all these other angels live there, then that would be the heaven, wouldn't it?
I mean, no.
That is crazy to think about it. Then that just tells you that the story is not what we're being told then.
They say the Garden of Eden is probably in Antarctica.
The Antarctica or Africa somewhere. Yeah, something like I forgot where it was. They actually showed us where it was. It was like, oh, it's just or no, that was Atlantis maybe, wasn't there? Yeah, you might be right.
Mount Zion's also there. The tallest mountain on the earth is over there, and that's why you
I'm just having a hard time believing in the Holy Bible these days. But I am more agnostic than I am like a Christian. I used to be a born again Christian.
Think about it.
But
if
I think the agnostic is a little bit more straight. I don't know. It just seems more real to me. Like, you know what I mean? They're talking like I don't know. It's weird.
All of you
Whatever, go
want
ahead,
to
sorry.
tire all at one
Rambling
time,
on.
please, Dave.
No, you're good. I think it's when it comes to things that have happened for so long, these people documented their experiences. It was a history that they wrote down. All they did.
Could be distorted, and then that became distorted. The church, well, a lot of people distorted it. I'm like, wait, we can't let people know what this is about. You know?
Well, of course, because they had to give them a book to have something that would have order. If you wouldn't have order, there would be so much fucking chaos. So this is why they decided to make religion so people could have a faith and belief.
Or they made it so they can keep you in line or keep you docile from what you really are.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
True creator.
Yeah, to keep you obedient.
What does it say? We made man in our image, not my image. Never says my. Never. That's where people. I don't get it why people don't look at that. Like say, well, our meaning, our image meaning, like, yeah, no, dude. You know exactly what it means. Stop distorting it. Meaning there were several. Well, whatever.
Well, you imagine that was basically a documentary, and they made it into a Bible.
Yeah.
And this is how they
a rule book. Rule book. Yeah, here's your rules, and they did it with everything. The Quran, all that, everything.
If you would actually get the Mason compass, and you would actually go in there, it would give you codes. It's basically telling you a lot of things. It was spells and things and whatever else. Of course, they removed a lot of it.
Yeah.
But that just tells you whatever happened a long time ago, it was just from experiences, and they just cut sections and sections, and they added it together.
Right.
Because if not, if you wouldn't have something that would give faith and belief to people, then imagine everything would be all chaos. It would be all fucked up. It would be upside down.
Right. Yeah.
So this way, it's easier to control them.
Yeah.
And also help them process. If it means coming back again to the loosh and reset, it would make them easy to categorize each individual from where to how to reset them, how to put them in a trap system, convince them without any issues. Because if they'd be thinking it's God in every different religion, they would process it differently, and they could come back against the light and again reset. It makes it easier for them. It's a trick system.
Yeah. That's true. I don't know. I'm not going towards that light. Screw it. I'm going to be the black sheep. I'm not going to that light. I see it. Nope. Let's try this.
So it's just imagine. It's been tricking people for decades. So long. And you hear all these people always trying to convince them that that's the way, that's their way, or their religion is better, that religion's better. It's like neither or.
Yep. Shit, he wants me to go in. All right. Well, I will leave you two to it. I got to get to work here. I will be right back in about 20, 30 minutes. Well, however long it takes me to load this shit up. This will take me shorter, but I'm gonna mute up for a minute. So you guys go ahead and chitty chat.
There's another video that shows these crabs that supposedly resemble the ones that were up there with the 3-1 Atlas. And it shows you where they were sitting there shooting blue beams at these big old giants. And they would turn them like into stone or into crystal. Hey, Evan. Are you asleep, Evan?
No, I'm still up. I'm just
Yeah,
quietly reading some stuff.
Minnie sent a text. He said, next time, said just don't mod up folks. What he said? He said don't mod folks that mod people. Like anybody with issues that are not supposed to be modded, not to mod them.
Yeah, so
We can already know. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad he said that, so now they can't act like we're tripping.
It does all the events for like the Ferraris, the Lambos, the Porsches. So, pretty fun.
Yo, Joe, I got one question for you, and I want you to. It's a real nigga question, all right? You ready? It's to you, Joe.
Yeah, I'm here.
So, do you stand with Gallicus, Crixus, or Spartacus? Choose one.
I gotta go Crixus.
Alright, you a real nigga for that. I fuck with you.
And that MR2 is beautiful. I just looked it up. Oh, I did not know they put a mid-engine in that small of a...
Yes, I have the only existing SARD. I don't know if you know what SARD is. It's the same. You know the Tom Supra?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay, so Tom's competed against SARD in the JGTC, right? And SARD used to make a bunch of stuff for Toyota. They're part of there's the racing division, right? So SARD made a body kit for the MR2. You can look it up. It's called the MC4 GT2, right? And if you look at the rear, there's many examples of the front bumper tab, but there's 0 examples that exist of the rear. I found it about 1.5 years ago, and I'm getting it 3D printed so it can be put back into production. And there's a website called MR2 Heaven that's going to start putting it up for sale.
Can you guys let my friend David up from the audience?
I'm not a mod.
No.
But and shit, I'm about to stop. I'm about to post my car right now. But yeah, that car is beautiful, man. It's beautiful. The way that it handles is like, I have videos of, I don't know if you're on the Discord, but I have videos on the Discord of me chasing down top secret R35 GTR, Porsche 911 4S. It punches way above its weight class, man. Way above.
We don't got no mods.
That's crazy. I had no... I mean, I just like cars. I'm not a big car guy, but
Toyota made a mid-engine car?
I did not know this at all.
Yes, bro, yes. It is the Chad, man.
And this MR2 Heaven site is amazing.
No, fuck.
Yes.
Can I ask a dumbass question? I mean, I don't know shit about cars. Like, if you were like, what kind of car do you drive? I'll be like, a white one. Or some shit.
Yeah.
But I'm like...
See, according to Cora, you must know how to please a woman.
Yeah, man, you're the Cunnilingus king.
All that is bullshit, right?
Hey, Cora, he's your guy, Cora.
What's the importance of a mid-engine? Like, what makes that dope?
Okay, so it changes the whole drivetrain.
dense, aren't you? Like,
Yeah, we're
seriously.
so dense because guys have passions and therefore they can't lick clits.
Don't
You're so
talk-
dense and you don't get that.
Do you want me to use my big authoritative assertive voice?
This is like they say, Ben, don't talk about your stress.
If you can't
don't talk
ride
about your
a horse
depression.
and understand
Don't talk
how to
about
control the
your
horse
cars.
and actually anticipate the movements of the horse and understand what it's doing, you're not gonna fucking be good in bed.
Oh my god! I read a book about your brother that sexualizes a horse.
I think cowboys rape more women than regular people do now.
Oh my god, bro. This is crazy, bro. No one said that driving a horse is like not skillful.
So Joe,
Oh my god, bro.
So Joe,
you get these women to read like the Gibraltar thing, the whole thing about a horse, when it's basically sexualizing a horse and what smut is based off of. And now because
it's not like an extension of your body. You're an idiot.
Yes. I said it's like another organic being, right? It has like it's not the same thing.
A woman.
I only ride a horse. What the fuck?
A horse.
Okay, it's an
a
extension
woman
of
is
who I
a
am.
horse.
A woman is another organic being.
A woman is a horse.
You gotta beat it. You gotta ride it.
That's crazy.
You gotta ride it hard and put it away wet.
Oh my god, bro.
A woman is a horse is great.
Yo, so Luca,
you asked for that, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
The reason
I didn't
why
say a woman was a horse. I said a woman is another organic being. That's what I was
So
saying.
you
Women are definitely mid-engine.
He literally said that he doesn't want to ride another organic being.
I never said that. I never said that.
That's not. It was a comparison between a horse and a car.
I said.
No, not you.
That's an organic being. Right, it's different. How fast it's gonna go is not gonna be directly under my control. Like me pushing a gas pedal, right? I'm not gonna be able to control the torque of whatever the horse is doing by switching down a gear, right? Regardless of where I steer with the horse, is not gonna be as accurate as my steering wheel. Yes, no one's claiming that I can ride a horse, bro.
So go learn to ride a horse, and then maybe.
Why would I do that? Why would I do that?
Because you're Native American and have long hair, she just thinks you should be
I know, bro.
Wait. So hold on. You think it's more car?
This is like so weird, man.
I take it back.
No, we're not now.
Please don't do that. Hey, Goo.
Come on, bro.
Goo, don't do that, Goo,
not
man.
Now, bro. So Cora, basically you
Bring up,
So Cora, basically you saying that it's more masculine to ride a horse than to drive a car?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Cowboys are greater than race car drivers every day.
And Inca, you disagree with that?
Oh yeah, I think that like if you're talking about what's greater, I think that if you look at the level of like race car drivers, they're doing some wild shit. The reaction
like Formula One race car drivers.
Yes. You're gonna tell me
athletes.
You're gonna look at me in the eye and say playing polo is impressive. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna look you in the eye, man. I'm gonna look you in the eye.
Anticipate and understand and integrate your functionality and movements with another living creature. Like that's what horseback riding is about. Like it's amazing, and it's just as if not better than driving a fucking car.
Okay, that's cool. Look, I don't want to fuck a horse, therefore I like.
But that was not the question. That was never the question, though, right, Incan? That was never the question. The question was. The question was, if you were back in the 1910s, would you ride a horse like you drove a car?
Yes, Jacoby was asking because he knows that I'm into racing. Yes, and I was like, no, it's not.
It's not the same.
He's trying to say, hey, look, you like driving things fast. Maybe you like going fast, and there weren't the case where they were cars, but you do like a horse. And I'm like, no, not really, because I just see horseback riding as different from. There's something special about driving cars that I wouldn't find in a horse. And then we had this beautiful, interesting perspective that was like, I learned. Oh my god! This sounds like you can't please a woman, you know. And then that really like threw everything down the drain, bro. We have an interesting conversation, right?
No one was like shitting on horses. No one was shitting on horses,
bro. This person fucking white knighting for fucking people not riding horses, dude. It's fucking crazy, bro. Oh my god! How can you forget about fucking Seabiscuit?
See,
you're
this
fucking
means
idiot.
a lot.
You're fucking sitting here talking about how you can't fucking like move
And fucking, yes, go ahead.
with
And
another
fucking, yes.
living creature, and that directly
So
translates
what?
into how you would
So
work
what?
having sex with a woman. Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
No, it
just because
does
I want to
not.
write a.
It
just
does
because
too,
I want to
Joe.
write it.
Why are you
just
being
be-
such a fucking
just because-
bitch right now?
Just because
Dude,
I
Corey,
want.
I've never heard you
Oh,
come
look, it's
off.
a car man. I gotta put on my car man attitude and act like a car
Oh my
man.
God!
No,
I
like,
like
listen
cars.
to
I gotta
you.
accuse other men of not being able to
Someone
fuck
says
women
a
if they
car,
don't like,
someone
they don't
says
like
a car and a
horses.
horse are different, and you say he can't
Yes.
please a woman. Get the fuck out of here.
It was the
Fuck you.
reason why he said the horse
Fuck
was
you.
different, Joe. Dumbass.
Oh, you're
I'm
a
saying-
dumbass.
Wait,
He
he
says a car's different than a horse, and he can't please a woman. What the fuck?
That makes sense.
I'm not denying that a car is different
You
than
don't
a
like
horse.
you don't like driving horses, therefore
why
these women.
he said
The
he
logical
wouldn't want to
entailment.
ride a horse.
Okay,
Fuck.
Cora,
You
let's
guys
just
are
let
maybe
Cora,
Just say you were joking.
yes, and she got fucking trolled, and she doesn't like it. Now she has to die on this hill of like,
No, I was
no, for real.
joking.
Men who don't want to drive do horses are virgins.
Cora, is that a papaya in your PTR?
What?
Is that a papaya?
I think it's a
No,
memory
it's a coyote. What the fuck do you think it is?
A mammary gland.
Oh, that's I've never
Oh my
seen
God.
a kitty like
I
that.
love when people take
That's
the
really memory.
and instead of like coming out of it chill, they just get more fucking vicious, bro. This is why you don't give hallucinogens to white people, bro. Doesn't help them, bro. This is really why. You got Coyote over here, she over there like, you
Everything's an El Camino.
She's like, she took it
Dude,
upon
you're
herself to
probably
be like, I'm a protector.
hallucinogens than you've ever even thought about.
Oh, ma'am, I'm from Ecuador. Our thing is ayahuasca. We have like the clean to the strongest hallucinogen. Yes. Okay, cool. And here you are, a sour person who can't handle the fact that somebody might like this activity.
I literally know how
more
to
than this
extract
activity.
DMT from Mimosa hostilis. So.
Oh my God! Are you gonna say you're gonna use naphtha and put that over a stove until it dehydrates? Oh my God! Are you telling me that you saw the same fucking Reddit post, or you got that from the dark web? You must be a shaman. This woman is a shaman. This woman just tried to flex to me how to extract DMT into a powder form. What the fuck are we doing?
You're from Ecuador.
Hold on, Incan. I just want to make the announcement real quick. I just need to make this announcement. Whoever bet me that Andrew Tate was going to beat Chase Demore, I just found out that you would have lost. So I guess we will never know because whoever lost the bet was probably never going to come forward. But remember, I had 25 on Chase Demore. Yeah, remember I had 25 more.
This is why bets go in the bet in Discord.
But I was ready to pay. I'm not gonna. You know what happened, Kendo? I was ready to pay up today because I knew knowledge. Because at least I knew knowledge was gonna pay up. So knowledge paid me the money for the Jake Paul Anthony Joshua fight. Then I was gonna use that money to pay whoever the fuck. Because I genuinely thought maybe Andrew Tate could win, but like Chase Demore did what Chase Demore did, man. It was kind of.
Yo, Q, I'm glad you're here. Help me out. I want to make sure that this makes logical sense, right? Let's say there's somebody who likes driving cars.
Hey, real
right?
quick, Huey, did you lose earlier or not? About the empathy thing? About the empathy thing? Huey?
Let me finish this thing. Let me finish this thing, right? Yo, Huey. Huey, I want this to make. I want to ask you a question. Make this make sense, right? Let's say that there's somebody who likes cars, and this guy's pondering this question. He's like, "Hey, look, you like driving cars, but let's say there's a world where there's not driving cars. Let's say 380, and so what there is horses. Would you drive horses? Like, would that scratch that itch, right?" And then that person goes,
I asked him that.
No. Yeah, and then that person goes, no, I don't find driving cars the same as horses. You have more control of the car, such as torque. It's more dependent. You know, a horse is like an organic, and it's different. It's not the same thing, right? Would it then be okay to have this, like, somebody make this entailment where it's like, you must not be able to fuck women? Does that make sense? Can you walk me through that logic, Huey? Can you help me out with that?
I think your logic follows. I'm so lost. How do I?
Yes, I know, right, Huey? Right?
Let her hair go, Incan. She has breast cancer. It might have went to her brain.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let her hair go.
What the hell?
Okay, my bad. Who is it? I can't even see this thing.
I love her.
And that was a shot from deep by She-Wolf. You can see on the replay.
Cora, I'm sorry she said that. I'm sorry she said that.
Yeah, it's fucking idiotic. And Incan knows me, and he's up there acting like a fucking Al Woods. Like, I come in here after a while, I see people I know, I fucking give him a hard time, and he fucking acts like a fucking bitch. Like, fuck off.
We miss you too, Cora.
Look, if you want to say a win by forfeit, sure. But like, remember yesterday I had questions for you both, but then you and Mike ended up doing your thing.
Yes, that's why I left. I had to get some sleep though. I have a weird sleep schedule.
I thought you and I agreed about having to step in somebody else's shoes to see how they feel in their shoes.
Yeah.
But remember what I said when I was trying to steelman Incan's point, that I don't think Incan necessarily disagrees with it. I said that, like, I think his disagreement with you is something that, like, you're not necessarily contending with, and your disagreement with him is something he's not contending with. So, like, you guys are actually disagreeing with each other, but like about two separate things.
So like, I hear Samoa, and I'm saying, hey, look, if somebody describes me their experience and like gives me a perspective due to like, let's say the story they're going to tell me, right, that I wouldn't have known before.
Bro, this is
like I can empathize. I can empathize.
You want a better debate? I have a Sentra that's faster than your MR.
Is it an Entra SER? And my MR2 is tuned, by the way. You're looking at 350 wheel, not crank wheel.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay. So, what year is this Sentra?
Technically, it's a 200 SX, but it's the same chassis. It's
fuck you.
Yo, She-Wolf, I just want you to...
That's fucking nice, bro. You have an SRT20 in that bitch. That shit's turboed up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yo, She-Wolf.
Yeah, okay, yeah. You probably have it then. But that's taking the curves any day.
I hope you don't have a turbo. I mean, that shit's crazy. He was like, "Oh yeah,
I've got an untuned Taz / Conquest. So, anytime, buddy."
Wait, you have an untuned Dominate or no Conquest? What's the difference?
All right, no. It's Taz down here, but I think in America it's called the Conquest.
A Conquest? What's that?
We don't have that. We don't have that.
All right, Huey. What am I not contending with? I'm saying it is a requirement to take the second step. He's saying it's not a requirement to take the second step.
Yes, definitely not. I'll give you an example. You see a small child, right? And then you see like this person, right, that looks like, very shady. And this kid has this lollipop, right? And he's opening up and he's looking at it, and this person just snatches it and then just runs away with it. And the kid just starts like, crying, right? And then you're like, damn, like it's a little kid. And I imagine if I was a little kid and started crying, right? Now, it could be that person is really like their father, and they're like, no more candy because you're going to get cavities, right? But I'm saying you can empathize before you hear that story where the kid's like, yeah, my dad took away my lollipop because of the cavity. Does that change the perspective? Yeah, it does, right? We're like, okay, maybe I don't feel the same way that I would feel before about it, right?
Let me just point out something. The problem is the language is a little bit loose for all intents and purposes. You say you could empathize. What's really in contention is like how you're describing the process of empathy working, and I think that's...
I emotionally resonate with them. Like, not only do I like take into account what's happening to them, right? Mm-hmm. And I let's say I would feel bad, right? But like, no, I'm like, yeah, I can imagine if I was like him, right? How I would feel. That's like the key part, right? I could imagine how I would feel if I were them, right? That, for me, that's what makes it empathy, right? Because now you're not trying to find some understanding or...
It's they, them.
Yes. Yeah, you're looking at like, hey, how do I feel?
So now you know the difference right here.
I thought you.
Yeah, that's the difference.
I did, but here's the question. This is the reason why, like, I would have wanted to ask you these questions before you left, because it seems like what you keep doing is, with all your analogies, you keep first describing sympathy that functionally happens, and then after that, like, sort of peddling in the fact that, like, that sympathy would be rooted in some kind of, like, empathetic reflexive mechanism of some kind, right? Like, so you're sympathizing from the perspective of empathy, and then that kind of muddies the water a little bit. So the question is like...
I think that's like a function. I think we sympathize before we empathize, right? We like sometimes like... unless it's like kind of conscious. I think unless it's conscious, right?
That's an interesting...
Yeah. Okay, so
But
like for
so
example, you might feel bad, right? And then you give that more thought.
Listen to what he keeps saying. Emotional resonance.
I think
right?
Spencer's trying to talk.
He's saying that he can what's the word again? He can resonate.
Resonate, yeah.
Yeah, so he can resonate emotionally. So because they're sad and he's been sad, he could resonate.
I just want
That's
to
what he's
know.
saying.
Yeah. Okay. So then, Incan, by that logic, given where the conversation ended up going yesterday, I would have to say, I
Come on.
I think you lost, but I also don't want to be biased because then maybe I might disagree. Because
what did I miss? What did I miss?
Whoa. Okay, so the cognitive, the point about cognitive empathy, right?
Oh yeah, but that was never on the table, right? Like cognitive empathy is like that's like part of empathy, right? Like that wasn't. It was never a discussion of like, look, there's cognitive empathy, and then there's sympathy. Samoa's claim is like, hey, you must know their account, right? Their account, like by their own words, right? For you to show empathy. Without them relating to you their story, then you cannot have empathy. And I'm like, no, I think that there's many cases where you can have empathy, where you don't have their account, right? So most putting this barrier where you have to hear from the horse's mouth, and only then can you display empathy. I'm saying no, that's not like the same thing, right? There's this difference where you can put yourself in someone's shoes, right? And they could be inaccurate shoes, if you want to use that analogy, right? They can be inaccurate shoes, but that's functionally different from just feeling bad for somebody, right? That's different, right? You can feel bad for somebody, true, but then if you try to, channel the way that they feel by cross-referencing something in your life to try to make an amalgamation of what that person could possibly feel, I'm saying that's a different approach. Right? And that approach doesn't necessitate you having to talk to that person. That in itself is a different methodology, if you want to call it that.
Okay,
They just
true.
be bad for somebody.
So wait. I think the parts of that are true. To the degree that like it's I'm not sure.
Yeah, the logic only works if you ignore the part that.
You got bruised, man.
Wait, hold on.
That's right. That's right.
So here's the thing. So there's a implication with what you're saying that like necessarily empathy involves, let's say, the feelings of somebody else and kind of ignores like, let's say, the thoughts of somebody else, which is what I guess Samoa was getting at, that like the thoughts matter as well. Like take away the emotional resonance thing. Like when you're dealing with something as complex as like cognitive empathy, somebody can like rationally recognize sort of like pattern and other things the person will be going through other than their feelings as well, right? Like you have this like neutral space where somebody doesn't necessarily like this is why I brought up psychopathy, right? Like because psychopaths are actually technically capable of cognitive empathy, but they don't necessarily like emotionally resonate with the people around them, right? And that's a type of empathy.
Yeah, but you're explaining the outcome, not the reason the outcome thinks it exists.
So like,
90% of the conversations you have are based on empathy. So
I want to point out something that I think that this is like kind of drives the point that I'm trying to make home, right? I gave Samoa keeps on saying, no, you have to have their understanding, right? And I'm saying, look, you're trying to say like download link cable that you connect to the person and you now like forego your understanding and them become there. I'm like, that never happens, right? So I tell Samoa, right? I'm not saying you read a book, either one of them loves it. I'm not saying that. Like, you look, want to defend this analogy, or like for it to like at least the essence say the same, right? You read a story, right? Like let's say you read a novel, and it's through the eyes of the main character, right? The whole thing, right?
Yeah, but your framing of causality still applies, though. What the fuck are you guys talking about?
Yo, chill. Listen, that's so fucking stupid, funky. Okay, so it's like a book, right? And it's the eyes character, right? And they do X or Y thing, right? And it could be that the ending is like morally ambiguous, right? I'm saying, look, we could both read the same book, right? And everything that's gone in the story is through the characters', perspective. Even their thoughts are like exposed in this book, right? Everything is from their perspective. Me and you can walk away with different feelings about that character. We both came to quote unquote Samoa's understanding, but yet we feel different. That only happens.
That's kind of the point.
Yes, I'm saying that only happens because we never let go of our quote unquote understanding. We always cross-reference it with our own experience and our own moral compass. So this whole idea of like, oh yeah, you forgo your understanding and it's like this new thing that is different from whatever you were doing when you had less information. I'm saying no, even with more information, You're still doing the same thing that I'm doing, right?
Yeah, but
you just have more details.
Yeah, with all due respect, you're saying Mortal Kombat's like.
Is this Elijah or is this who is this?
Yeah, but a Moral Compass.
Hey yo, bro, but Dio, I just want to say, bro, they said that your ID looks mad funny, bro. All right, bro. It says that it doesn't say 2 PhD, and that was wild. Right?
It's
Yeah,
about alignment, not in Matrix.
Yeah, dude, this is fucking crazy.
Do you want to debate me on mathematics? I mean, I can win that debate.
Mathematics, multiply. Yeah, I get you, bro. I don't really
That's why we couldn't reconcile this yesterday.
Yo, Aura, I mentioned Will. I actually do remember we didn't have that many interactions. My bad if I came off as like trolling.
To be honest, you actually skip the invisible step everyone skipped.
That's true, man.
Did you make talk about mirror neurons and like early childhood development, and how children develop empathic response? It doesn't have anything to do with exchange of information. It's literally about trial and error and like walking reaction.
Yeah, if you apologize to a lot of people,
but you get what I'm saying, right, Dewey? Like, there is no foregoing of your understanding, right? There is none of that happening, right? You have more details, but you're still cross-referencing it, right? So this mechanism
No.
trying to apply.
Incan. So
Yes.
okay. So I
That's not how it works.
Right? The part, just hold on. The part that I think Samoa disagrees with, and Samoa can step in here, right? But like I think the part Samoa disagrees with is like the necessary sort of like implication that like when you're talking about cross-referencing, that you're now like cross-referencing like for the purposes of like creating some kind of like emotional resonance part like that. That's sort of like implied that the thing that you're referencing within yourself is the feeling that you've had in that particular moment. And Samoa is saying that no, it's possible to actually be able to still empathize without necessarily having felt that thing before. So like, or had that experience before. So for example, and we gave the example of the children. Like, so for example, when you teach children to do good things for, let's say, homeless people or whatnot, like most children have never been homeless. Most children don't know what like that sort of like destitute thing feels internally. Like they have no real cross-reference, but then they're able to sort of like carry out that pattern and read the social cue that like.
Oh yeah. I agree. I told Samoa this. Samoa had a weird example, right? I just want to say it's weird. That's just like, I don't mean like Shay. I just don't want to bring this up. And like I came out of thin air. Samoa's doing an example like, hey, what if somebody says, hey, my mom. He said, and I, you know what, fucking, he said, and I quote, what if somebody says, hey, my mom died? I'm like, damn, I feel bad for you. He's like, nah, she was a bitch. Because she pimped me out, right? She pimped me out in this. I'm saying, hey, look, while that's happening, I've never been pimped out by my mother, right? But I'm going to try to cross-reference like something like, imagine my mother that I love betraying me, and I'm going to maybe like understand the concept of like, you know, like rape,
Okay,
and
wait,
try to like to make an amalgamation.
Before you carry that out, I just want to point out, I can already foresee a problem here, which is that like by Samoa's standard, you wouldn't be empathizing if that's the game you're playing, right?
Yes,
because then at that point, what you'd be doing is you'd be projecting your own sort of like previous experience of like motherhood onto the person that they might not necessarily like have. Like so, like that's a good example because it's like somebody like you just said. Imagine if I had like a mother who I loved who betrayed me. And it's like no. None of that might actually matter to the person that we're talking about. Right? Somebody might legitimately have never experienced that love from their mother. They might have like legitimately hated their mother. Like in this particular example, why wouldn't we just as well assume that like the mother had been doing this from day one and had only like functionally been like breeding this child or like rearing this child for the purposes of picking them out, right? So then at that point, it's like they never felt their love from their mother. Like their only experience with their mother would have been like their mother being a pimp. And it's like they have no like referential thing where the mother was ever loving. Why would that necessarily be the case?
Yes,
and then how would you cross-reference it? And then how wouldn't it be the case that like you're cross-referencing with your own sort of like loving nature with your mother would be necessarily wrong?
Yes, I got you. So like this is what I was trying to point out, right? I'm like, you're never going to be able to like recreate that like accurately in your mind. What you're going to do is you're going to take certain elements, right, and you're going to put them together to try to be like, how would I feel, right? So in this case, right, you'd be like, okay, imagine if my mom never loved me, how would I feel about that, right?
Samoa's going to disagree because it's not about how you would feel.
Yes, but there's no way for you to get how they feel, right? Samoa's saying, look, to get their understanding. But I'm saying, Samoa, there's no way that you're going to
exist, but not there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm saying you're never going to understand, quote unquote, what it's like growing up with a mom that doesn't love you, that pimps you out, right? Because that's a completely dysfunctional life, right? The implications are so nuanced and they're varied in every detail that you'll never get an accurate picture. So when you say get an understanding, you're actually just referring to like an arbitrary amount of information that this person is supposed to have that you can't really name, right? You're not saying that you have to have it to like a 90% accuracy for it to be empathy, right? That interaction is going to be dependent on how I form these concepts that are foreign to me. That are foreign to me, right? And I'm saying that's what we all do anyway, right? We can't recreate that in our mind accurately. We can just have best approximations and try to be like, how would I feel in that case, right? And try to resonate, right? And I'm saying that's just the way that it is, right? And then Samoa saying no, because when he does that, he's passing you his understanding, and now you have this magic ability to empathize.
Yeah,
and I'm
but
saying
have
no.
you entered lived experience into the equation?
Yo, who's talking right now? Yeah, who's talking, dude? I can't see the stage right now, bro.
Yeah, I wasn't looking either. Oh, don't talk to niggas. Gonna be quiet now, cause
yeah,
that was David. I was talking.
No, that was David.
Yeah. Niggas keep ankle biting. Okay, so.
Y'all don't sing on stage?
So okay, correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like what you're saying is that, like, based on what Samoa is saying, that, like, that's a weird and impossible standard of empathy, and that, like, functionally that's not how it works, right? That ultimately we're always necessarily going to be sort of, like, projecting our own experiences onto our interpretation of a person's given circumstances in order to sort of, like, figure out what that person might necessarily be going through, thereby calling that empathy, right?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Well, we're talking about empathy, right? Yeah, Samoa saying
can I just point out where the fundamental tension between you and Samoa is? Samoa is pointing out that, like, well, look, at the point at which you're talking about projecting your own experiences onto, like, your perceived case file of this person's, like, circumstances, you're no longer actually, like, doing empathy properly, and, like, empathy necessarily involves introjection as opposed to, like, projection, right?
Yeah, and I'm saying that's not realistic, right? What you're saying is like
wait. Okay, and here's the problem. Whether or not it's realistic is substantively not the thing that Samoa cares about. He's talking about, like, the standard for the difference between, let's say, empathy and sympathy.
This is the stupidest people ever. Talking about numbers.
Own examples. So you say, like, no, now you come to their understanding, and now you can. I'm like, no. You just said understanding, right? Like, right now, in the conversation we've had, we both agree that all we're just doing is projecting, right? By trying to make this amalgamation of what this person could possibly feel like, right? We already understand it, like, no, but when you get to their understanding, then you can. And I'm saying no, like, you say empathy is this, and if we just break down what you're doing by your own definition, you're not doing it, right? What's doing the heavy lifting in your argument is us just taking for a fact that they have this understanding, and all of a sudden they, like, connected a cable and downloaded all their life experiences so they could feel all the nuances. And me and you both know that's impossible,
You're not even
right?
trying to listen to it, bro.
No, I am. In your examples, you said you come to a new understanding, and then you can be empathetic, right?
Everything that I'm hearing you do right now, Lincoln, is you driving the M2. You're not allowing the person to drive at all. It's just you. You're just driving the car while they're just sitting there, and you're just projecting your ego and your persona onto this person. Like, how arrogant is that? How anti-empathetic is that?
Okay, so I would ask you the following, right?
I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah. You gave us 2 examples of somebody being empathetic yesterday, as opposed to them not being empathetic. Can you run us through those examples again? One of them was like the whole, like, I lost my mom thing, right? Can you run us through that, because how you can be empathetic towards that person?
Yeah, so, like, what you just said there, you say, hey, man, I'm sorry for your loss, bro. It was like, I'm not. Fuck the bitch. And you're like, whoa. How could somebody possibly say that? Here, tell me. Well, I was 1 year old, and this bitch did this, and that, and this, and that. And then, when I was 2 years old, this bitch did this, and that, and this, and that. Before you know it, you just sat in front of this 4-hour documentary about all this disgusting things that you've never thought possible that a person as a quote-unquote mother could ever do. So now you're out of your comfort zone. You don't know what the fuck's going on right now. You're saying, whoa, this dude went through some shit.
Yeah.
I know why he's there. Fuck.
At that point,
have a good day.
Am I at that point I'm being empathetic?
Yes, because you're now.
Yes.
Yeah, hold on. So you're now understanding how this person feels in their shoes. You're not projecting anything onto them.
Yeah, I would disagree. Chewy, do you see where the issue that I'm talking about? Samoa is proposing to be able to be exposed to things that are foreign to him and come to the same understanding that that person has and feel the same way that they feel, right? Me and you both know that just because you're able to picture it doesn't mean you're going to feel it the way that they felt, right? There's obviously details that went on in his daily life that are going to be missed, and you can make some case are essential for you to feel the way that he felt, right? And that's what I'm saying, right? At the end of the day,
this
Samoa...
is the all or nothing fallacy.
No. Well, that's the issue that what you're trying to say. What you're trying to say is there cannot be any projection, right? There cannot be any interjection of
in the example that I just gave, you allowed, remember I told you that you're driving the M2. You're allowing this person to drive the
MR2.
Or the MR2. So you're allowing this person to drive the MR2. And what you're doing here is they're taking you on a ride that even you can't fathom. And now you're like, bro.
Wait, hold on. Can I just...
Oh, yeah, do you think...
Can we try and sort this out without getting lost in the analogies real quick? So real quick, Inkin, I see the problem you're pointing out. Okay, so if I understand it correctly, you're essentially saying that there is no world in which we're never projecting onto sort of the facts of the matter, how we necessarily feel, to make these calculations about how the other person feels. So therefore, projections are necessarily function of empathy, right?
Yes.
Okay. And
even necessary.
Okay.
They're
cool.
necessary, actually.
So here's where I'm gonna do something that's not fair moderation here, but I'm gonna insert a new argument here and then see what you think. Okay. So the thing I would say in response to that would be, in that particular case, it's true that we are consistently projecting these things, but when we are projecting those things, we're not actually necessarily participating in or we're not actually empathizing, right? We're processing, but that's not where the empathy necessarily happens. The empathy necessarily happens after we are able to sort of start to reject our own internal biases in order to look at things objectively, right? So until we start to do that wouldn't necessarily be empathy. I'm not denying that projection consistently happens, because we have no other way to sort of function without that. But at the same, we wouldn't call that process that stage in the calculations the empathy part.
Yeah, and I disagree, right? Because I feel like you say objectively, right? And I'm saying well, obviously we know that you can't do that, right? So you're meaning in some more accurate way that would be subjective, right? Why can't you
be
objectively?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Your biases.
Because that would mean that you're aware of your biases, right? And your subconscious biases, also your life experience.
To be fair, let's say to the best of your ability. So I'll with every example that you give, supposing, okay. So with every analogy that you're giving, supposing that a person first starts to project and think about how they would feel in a particular situation in X, Y, and Z, but then empathy starts to happen at the stage at which they say, well, look, I'm not that particular, right? So I need to sort of remove how I feel, because I understand that I feel this particular way because I value this particular thing. Imagine if I didn't value this particular thing, and then I participated in this sort of metacognitive exercise to strip away the at least known biases in my own sort of purview. Obviously, it's never going to be 100% perfect, but that process of stripping away those known biases in order to understand another person wouldn't necessarily be the empathy. And here's the thing: all of these analogies that we've discussed so far are simple for us to sort of get into. They're comfortable because we're talking about feeling bad or good for another person. What happens when you have to empathize with somebody who's a horrible piece of shit, right? Let's say a rapist.
Yes. It becomes more obvious that you have biases, right? You have that feeling.
Exactly.
And what I'm trying to say, Huey, is that line is imperceivable to us, right? We can put some type of marker, and because it feels like intuitively okay. There's no real way of measuring that, right? There's not like a checklist.
Okay, wait, Inge, let me ask you. Wait, hold on that note.
Yeah.
So to tie this in with what you're saying now, okay. So have you ever heard like somebody say, well, look, I would never rape, but I can kind of understand and I can kind of see how somebody gets to that point where they do.
Yeah, I've heard people say that.
Oh, wait, are you capable of doing that?
Yeah, I'm capable of doing that, right? Feel kind of nasty doing it, but yeah.
Yeah, I like personally, I feel kind of nasty, but it's like I can understand it to the degree to which, like if we have to now create sort of like policy around it, it's important to have this ability to understand that or to be able to empathize and to like if we're gonna start talking about systemic changes or policy changes and start like thinking about like addressing this at an early stages in childhood development, we kind of unfortunately need to be able to empathize with the type of people that we might necessarily like find abhorrent or disagreeable, right? So it's kind of like, okay, sure, I can empathize with those people to that degree, but that's not the same as me projecting my lust onto. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not.
Yes. And I'm saying that like the word empathetic when it comes to those things, it's kind of vague, right? Because it's kind of like vague in a way that by like I don't want to say by necessity, right? But there's just no way to real gauge that. Let's say you're like I can kind of see, like no, you can't see it the way I see it because I'm imagining like being rejected since you were a kid, and like this girl that I liked, and I had an experience that a girl didn't like me, right? And now I really like that girl, so I can do it better. And then we get into this thing where like all these small details are valid reasons of why you're empathizing better than the other person, right? And so we can imagine how you can empathize better, right? And that the question is like the question is like whether you can imagine how you can empathize worse, right? But like what Samoa's trying to say is like this is where it starts and this is where it ends, right? Like this is the cutoff line, right? Like me and you are talking about ways where we can empathize more, we can empathize a little bit less, right? But Samoa's saying, look, this is the moment where like it becomes empathy, right? At their understanding. And I'm saying, look, even though that sounds like intuitively okay, I think that empathy is like better separated by like the approach that you're trying to take, right? Just feeling bad for somebody, right? I feel bad for them, right? Rather than trying to put yourself in their shoes, right? Than trying to say like, how would I feel, right? Like you would call it like cognitive empathy. I'm saying that's like a different approach, right? You're already like taking a step to like try to feel how they would feel. And that's essentially different from bad. And that's a clear distinction than at what point, how many biases do I eliminate? How many stories do I hear? How many deep details do I try to comprehend? How many of my own life experiences do I have or do I not have to be able to quote unquote qualify as empathy? Saying that marker is always going to be very obscure, it's going to be very vague. There's going to be really good arguments of why it should be placed higher, really good arguments of why it should be placed lower, like the ones that you just brought, right? So how good should we be able to empathize with a rapist before it's enough, quote unquote, right? Or can we qualify it as empathy? And essentially, it's kind of nonsensical trying to put it a marker like here or there, right? I think it's better differentiated by its approach and what it's trying to do, regardless of how effective it is.
I just want to say I agree. I think I agree with I agree with how your suggested approach. I guess the question then becomes, because I did have a question for you before I let you and some more have it back and forth to I guess figure this out, right? My question for you would be, why is what you're describing not, let's say, projected sympathy as opposed to empathy?
It could be. I'm not trying to say. I'm just saying it's empathy, right? It could be cognitive empathy. It could be projected empathy. Essentially, I think that all empathy is going to need projection, right? I think that there is no way to objectively view things, right? It's always going to be subjected to your own experiences, the lack or you having them. So that's
No. Okay, so wait, so then we just need to reconcile this then, right? Because Samoa is saying like, for all intents and purposes, the empathy is functioning about introjection as opposed to projection. Like so let's not forget that we're not just projecting mechanisms, right? We're also introjecting mechanisms. So in other words, like we have a sort of like a super egoic nature that like allows us to sort of like absorb a whole bunch of values and information and sort of like these social cues in the first place. Why is empathy not necessarily as a function of that, as opposed to a persistent sort of like projecting? Like, why is the empathy not in the sort of taking in of other people's experiences and then just sort of like accepting face value that like experiences X are likely to lead to reactions or internal outcomes Y?
Can you repeat the first part of that?
Okay. I'll give you another. I'll give an example. You know, there was this old idea in anthropology a while ago that we were evolutionarily like adapted to like be scared of snakes.
Yeah.
You've heard that? Apparently that's wrong. That's like completely just false because they put a whole bunch of babies.
You're not Jordan Peterson. How dare you? The snake comes and, we've always been afraid of snakes. Because we've been in trees and if the snake gets you, it'll take your lungs.
Have you seen the experiment that the sociologists did where they took like a trained python or whatnot and they put babies next to it and the babies had no idea they were playing with the python perfectly fine?
Oh, what?
You haven't seen that? Okay, just look at YouTube. It's like one of the craziest shit you've ever seen. Like,
I've seen them say they were not lobsters, bro.
No, and these were like real. Here's what's crazy. And these were babies who were capable of crawling because I think they needed the babies to have enough like motor control to be able to touch without like injuring the snake. But basically, they had like one of these like trained snakes or whatever, obviously sterilized for salmonella, and then they basically put babies in the same thing with the python. Obviously, this was moderated. They were never gonna just like let the python go off on the babies, but like the babies had no problem like touching the snake, engaging with it. Like some were even trying to like suck on the snake, right? Like as babies do. And it turns out that like this idea, and they did this with lots and lots of babies. It's like turns out like this idea that like we have this like inbuilt reflex to just be able to respond to snakes is just wrong. We're socialized to actually be afraid of snakes altogether.
Oh damn!
Right. All of that's to say, which is fine. Like I actually have no problem with the fact that like we are socialized to be afraid of snakes because that would be functionally necessary. However, right, like however you slice, like there's a functional necessity to sort of like understanding that like you're not going to be able to download all the necessary information about every single snake, about which one's poisonous and whatnot. It's a functional heuristic to just basically be scared of snakes, but that's socialized into us necessarily, right? So that's like a value. That heuristic forms a set of like values about like what creates a set of values as to like how you approach the world around you, right? And that's necessarily downloaded. It's not something that's like inbuilt, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Why isn't that the case that like for like most things that we do, like social cues that we do? So the social cue with the snake. Sorry, the reason I brought this up, the social cues. The social cue with the snake is that like, okay, when you see a snake, generally be careful, generally avoid it, generally treat it like it's poisonous. Despite the fact that like there's so much evidence to the contrary. Your values are like, nah. If I'm picking between a snake and this animal, I'm always going to pick the other animal over the snake, right? It's affected your value system at that particular point, right? Like, but that's like a downloaded thing. If you didn't have that downloaded thing, you probably have a different approach to that particular value. So in other words, what I'm saying is that like, given that like values are sort of like downloaded super egoically, why isn't it the case that like you could persistently like download those values super egoically in order to be empathetic?
Yeah, because I think that they if you download like a value, right? I think that you act upon it. You either like through trial and error, you like persist or fight it back, right? It takes time to incorporate into who you are, right? So that, right? I think it takes time. I mean, you can picture yourself like for example, like. I'll give you an example. Let's say somebody's talking about stealing and be like, yeah, I used to steal a lot. And they're talking like, in like they're happy about this thing that they stole it, right? And let's say you choose to indulge that, right? And be like, I'm going to imagine stealing isn't that bad. And then you try to give yourself reasons, they steal from us, yada, yada, yada. Stealing is not that bad, right? I would say that at that point, you're just kind of like making this, it's not that you've downloaded the value of like not having anything of being stealing. At that point, what you're just doing is you're trying to like negate or like have like some artificial inclination towards that behavior and ignoring momentarily your repulsion towards that behavior, right? And I'm saying like, hey, look, we're capable of doing that. And that's not going to be accurate, right? And I would still qualify that as empathetic, right? Otherwise, we're running into like weird scenarios, right? Like, take Samoa's example, right? What if you also had a mom that mistreated you in a different way, right? And when he says like, oh, I'm sorry, you just say like, oh, you're not even empathetic when his mom dies, right? Because that's not the relationship you had with your mom. And he's like, oh, don't, and you just say out of like, politeness, I'm sorry to hear that. He's like, no, she was a bitch. And you're like, yeah, my mom was like, a B2, right? And then he describes his feelings, right? Inevitably, you're going to have this childhood where you didn't have a good childhood with your mom, and it's going to be different, right? But you could say, look, now you're not coming to a new understanding of like them. You actually are more, under Samoa's definition, probable of not being empathetic because you've had a similar, but it's different enough for your like similar things to like impose how they would feel about something, which or the way they could be feeling would be much worse, or it could not matter at certain moments, right? We're just gonna get into these weird things of like, to what accuracy? And I'm saying Samoa cannot get without showing a marker, right? Where he said like, now you understand, now you don't know, right? And I'm saying, look, that's just a weird marker, right? It's not an accurate one either. Therefore, we shouldn't use it, right? We could use qualifications like being more empathetic, being less empathetic, but making it the starting line of empathy because now you're blown away by these new events puts like a really high toll on whatever you're going to be listening to. Now it has to blow you away. Now it has to be something that you couldn't ever picture before. You would never see that way. And it could be, and I'm saying now you can't empathize about, I don't know, you getting a shitty grade and like this person like taking like some scientific course that you never took, but them getting a shitty grade. Now you can't empathize with them. I mean, like that doesn't make sense with me, right? It's not going to blow me away if they describe like how difficult it was. It's going to be analogous for me, right? But now I can't empathize because it's not blowing me away. There's no clear marker for what Samoa is implying that qualifies as empathy.
I think that's fair. Go ahead.
No, man, I was gonna. Yeah, I mean, I feel like right on. I mean, I feel like you just said a bunch of this shit. Right. I think like it's so funny, Incan, that you just said basically the exact same shit that I already said after you left earlier. I'm like, you're creating this. You're alluding to this standard that you refuse to define. And then once we hone in on that, because you asked him the same shit last night, what exactly, how much do you have to know to say that you understand? Because this shit is just about you disagreeing on what it means to understand and shit like that. So it's like, you know what I mean? So
yes.
Yeah, man. I just thought it was hilarious that you said the exact same shit I already said, and me and you already saw this whole shit last night. So it's like, I don't know, bro. That was just kind of funny to me. But I think Huey did take it to a different direction. He added like interesting flavors
for like projectional empathy. I thought that those were fair things, right? I think those were fair things to say. Hey, look.
Yeah, valid points.
Yes. I think that
I didn't add that. Like Huey added that, but let me just point this out. And like you guys do comics and shit like that, like movies and shit. Like
you do comics? No. You?
Like a Gray, like a Jean, like on X-Men. Like she's an empath, right? And like Prue Halliwell on Charmed, she's an empath. I think another movie is like Green Mile, like John Coffey.
Yes.
I think he's an empath. But notice that like the thing that kind of connects all these people is that
they have superpowers.
No, that they have the ability of being called an empath, and the requirement of them is to take all of the pain, all the anguish, all of the travesties of the experience of the people that they're helping at this moment upon themselves. So
that's a superpower. You're describing superpowers, right?
Well,
like they touch them and then they all of a sudden get their experience, right? My bad. I'm gonna shut up. My bad.
I'm just saying that if this is what we call an empath, I think this is pretty clear on what I'm saying. That you can't just look at the person 20 feet away and then see this person is cold, or that this person is crying, and that because you've cried before, that your cries are equal. And then you say, hey, I've cried before. But then this person talks to you and says why they've cried. Well, their dad died, then their mom died, then their sister died, and then everybody died, and then the whole village died, and then the atomic bomb hit, and then and you're like, what the fuck? I guess my cry isn't as bad as her cry. God damn it. What an asshole to try to project my cry versus her cry. Like, that's like not an egotistical thing to do. Just saying.
And that's like me saying, hey, look, you think you're strong, right? But we think of people like Superman and Hulk, and like the buildings that they lift, and like the planes they stop in midair. That's strong, right? And like, look, you're describing people that I'm saying need the same mechanism that you're alluding to, where they download the way that they feel by their experiences, right? That's the whole thing with the Green Mile, right? He puts his hands and he's able to do that, right? And those empaths you're describing, that's their superpower. They touch the person and all of a sudden they go through
Tell
their
me what he's
experience.
drawing on his own experience.
No, I'm saying that look, he touches the person, right? And he receives their experiences, right? Not through communication, but through this supernatural thing where now he has all of it, and it's like data being downloaded. I'm saying that supernatural is a superpower, right?
All right.
The word empathy wasn't made to describe the supernatural, right? Like I'm saying that's not the case, right?
Wait. Inkin, wait. I feel like you're not contending with, like, let's say the analogy seriously past a certain point, because maybe the superpower is embedded within the fact that, like, that process happens instantaneously for them, but not necessarily like that empathy is the actual, like, threshold for it. So in other words, like, it's a superpower because of how quick it happens, but not necessarily because that's what empathy is, right? So in other words,
that's the thing about them, right? They touch the person and they take away their pain, right? By being able to, like, receive all of it. That's why they call it an empath. They're not even called an empath because they're like the way that you feel. They're actually called an empath because they take away their pain. So it's actually like, low-key, it's a non sequitur, Q. It's saying that an empath is somebody who's able to take away the pain.
That's all fine and good, but the point of the analogy, the actual point of the analogy is to demonstrate that, like, empathy is about the other person's experience, not the individual with the superpowers experience, right? Like, so, like, the threshold or the standard for what we're defining as empathy is about ultimately introjection and not projection. And that even though projection necessarily happens, because I didn't hear some more content with this part, even though projection naturally happens, right? That's like a function of, let's say, a bunch of other cognitive processes that we wouldn't necessarily call empathy, is, I guess, what I'm asking you. Why is that not the case?
Why is it not? Okay.
Why is it not the case okay, let me phrase it cleanly, right? Why is it not the case that the projection that you're talking about, that we naturally do when we're looking at situations that other people go through, is a part of, let's say, general cognitive processes, but not necessarily a part of empathy?
Okay. I think that it's necessary for it to be part of it.
Everything's like circular, Jason.
Yeah, so
no. I don't disagree with that part, because the problem is, Inkin, the problem is it's also natural to make a calculation as a part of it, because we're
because you can count the person's feelings. Yeah, that's all it is. Projection about yourself and their situation and how you would feel, right? It's not feeling. You can have projections that don't relate to you.
Wait, Inkin, do you understand the argument I'm trying to put forward to you? What I'm trying to put forward to you is this: there are things that we naturally do as human beings, as a function of habit, as a function of cognition, as a function of, like, just our natural existence. We naturally project, we naturally introject. We're naturally, like, doing a whole bunch of these things at any given time, at any given moment. That's not necessarily what makes something empathy, though, just because we naturally do it. So for example, there's a whole bunch of subconscious processes happening at the point at which I'm empathizing, but they're not part of the empathy. So subconsciously, I might necessarily be storing the memory. Nothing to do with empathy. But that's also something that's happening in the moment when I'm empathizing, if that makes sense.
Okay, you're saying, like, how do you know this is not just another projection, your daily routine? And I actually do think that empathy is actually something natural, right? I think it's an ability that we have, right, to do.
I think you missed it, Inkin.
No, that's not what I was asking, Inkin. Inkin, what I'm saying is...
I think you missed it.
Claims are depending on self-reporting, right?
Are they treated?
Well, Inkin, like it...
Okay, wait, hold on.
I'll let you know.
Okay, hold on real quick. Inkin, what I'm asking is this. The projecting that you say we naturally do when we're empathizing, why is that not something we naturally do as a function of just simply existing, but not necessarily being like a part of the empathy process?
I think, that's kind of like begging the question, right? You're saying, hey, look, this is the mechanism in which we... Because you're saying, hey, this is the mechanism in which we do it, but how do we know that's really empathy? And I'm saying, well, no, that's actually like empathy. That's what it is, right? Empathy is not this new thing, this new skill that you acquire. It's separate from your...
Stop. Let me give you an example so that you can...
That was a good question.
Okay, hold on. Okay, Inkin, when I'm empathizing, my heart beats, okay? I'm also breathing in and out. Why aren't we saying that breathing in and out and heart beating are part of empathy? Do you see what I mean? Like there's this. Okay. So you now understand, and I'm saying there's things that are happening simultaneously, like as we empathize, that are like not like interesting to add to the definition of empathy for all intents and purposes. And what I'm saying is, objections.
I'm not sure the
why is that not
definitions are surviving the discussion though?
I feel like okay. When I initially heard your question, Huey, I was like, okay, I think Huey's saying that, you know, being able to relate to a person is necessary but not sufficient. Perhaps I misunderstood.
No.
There's more things that, well, okay, but also, I mean, I heard, okay, what you literally just said was, we may be mistaking correlation for causation. That's all.
Yeah, you're right about that.
I understand what you're saying, but like, so it's not a misunderstanding there. But I feel like dude did not respond to what you kind of said. But and you're just asking him to justify his to justify that which we should consider causative factors. Am I mistaken in that?
No, you're not. Yeah, so sorry, I misunderstood what you initially said about the sufficient.
I was referring to something you said. I was referring to something that you had said earlier as a whole, because I think you're throwing in shit that's valid.
Hey, Incan, are you a giver or a taker?
Alejandro.
Hey, are you a giver or a taker, Incan?
No, you don't have to answer that question.
You'd be asking those questions, bro.
Hold on, bro. Are you a giver or a taker?
Yeah, I'm just not going to answer that question without more time.
Right.
Yeah, you don't have to answer that question.
Just shut the fuck up. If you're a taker, then you would be empathetic. If you're a giver, you'd be sympathetic.
The issue what we're having is that you have to.
Samo, you're importing a lot of like normative weight into what's framed as.
This nigga's just throwing words in there, like bro, like I've been really trying to be good faith, but this nigga was not like I had it like.
This says we're at a point where causality doesn't apply, bro. I was like, this guy's such a.
With all due respect, God, don't call him the N-word. Don't call him the N-word.
This is like when Kendo was talking about the Germanic completion.
This is exactly Germanic completion right here.
Okay.
Well, but y'all gotta explain Germanic completion.
I think that you're like some colloquial sense of the word empathy.
The audience.
Honestly, Incan, I think you are.
Yeah, no.
I genuinely think you are because I think what you're doing is you're taking like our understanding of affective empathy,
So he
and
is
saying
a
that
taker.
unilaterally, and then you're saying that unilaterally, like necessarily the way affective empathy like functions, or like the outcome of affective empathy is necessarily empathy as a whole. And then when we point out, like for example, cognitive empathy as a subcategory functions slightly differently, you say, well, no, I mean that's still part of empathy in general, and it's going to functionally work the same. But then you can't necessarily provide sort of like the same exact like processes for cognitive empathy that you're getting at with like affective empathy. So what I'm trying to ask, Incan, is this, right? When I'm empathizing, there's lots of things that simultaneously happening. Why aren't you also saying that like breathing in, like inhaling and exhaling, having a heartbeat, having blood circulating through your organs and doing X, Y, and Z are also part of empathy? Why aren't you adding those particular things?
Okay, because I think that although like we take that as a given, right?
Yes.
I think that the actions that we're doing get named. It's on its. Okay, what's the right word?
Do you understand my question though, right? Like I'm saying, why is it interesting? Because I think we come to the same conclusion that because it's a given, it's functionally uninteresting to point out that those things are happening when you're empathizing.
Yeah, you're like asking like, why do you call like running like moving your legs like that when your heart's also beating? And I think I would be like, I guess because what we're like describing, right? Even though we take that as a given, is like where we're like what we're
and just to make sure as you answer this, you connected to what I was trying to ask you before, is why isn't projection just one of those givens?
Because you have to name the distinction before performing it.
And that distinction has a cause and effect, so yeah.
I feel like Incan did, like, in his little analogy he threw out really quickly, he was saying, well, when you're running, your heart is beating.
Well, I mean, I think I know, because I have two PhDs, so I think I know.
Yeah, dude, you're caught lacking, bro. They caught you with your work ID, bro.
Stop. Just keep the conversation going. It's just gonna fucking ruin it.
Yeah, I think Huey, it's because of all the things that are happening, that process right there is like the main factor in whatever verb they were doing at that moment, right?
No, that's not
so
true.
like, yeah, it's like, so I think that if you take everything of what we're doing, right, and that's like the main thing. Jesus Christ, what the fuck am I saying? Give me a second. Let me merge onto this fucking link. Give me a second.
So when you say verb, you mean like humping?
Yeah, Samoa. If you're humping someone, right? Why don't you describe it like you know, like how your knees are hurting at your age, bro? Well, why don't you describe that, right? Because the main thing that your body is doing, right, or what the distinction you're making, is that your body is like doing this action, right? And I think that's it, right? I think it's more important than breathing, than recollecting, than the memory, right? I think that's the main factor going on.
Why in your definition, Aiken, is it more about you than about them?
I'm not saying it's more about me than it is about them. I'm just saying these are
cognitive empathy is, by the way.
More about you than them?
Yes, because you're understanding how to feel what that person feels, so they become your own emotions. Affective empathy, is just mirroring without understanding.
Wait, hold on. All right, so in the cognitive,
but it breaks down.
Wait. So you can show empathy without understanding, Haga?
Yes,
Oh my God! There we go. There we go.
With it. It's innate in majority.
That's what I was saying.
It's not sociopaths, psychopaths, and some autistic.
You know, I'm telling you, bro. Huey gets on, bro, and Huey's like, yeah, Incan has a point. Yeah, let me undermine him. This motherfucker's. Oh damn, bro. I wish I knew more about empathy, bro. About effective empathy. That's fucking crazy, bro.
Thank you very much.
Huey's laughing on silent right now, bro. Huey's laughing on silent, bro.
Hey, Aiken, can you hold on real quick?
Yeah, my bad, bro. Go ahead.
All right, so Haga, in cognitive empathy, you have to adopt their feelings, right?
Says who?
Come on, says his definition.
It's called perspective taking. Yes, that's what you do.
Okay, so now you're a taker. Okay, thank you. So to be empathetic, you have to take it. Just like how Aiken's about to take this L. Okay,
No.
so you're...
There's an appeal to definition that you're kind of fucking up.
Yeah,
because
that's
there's also affective. There's also affective empathy, which is just mirroring without understanding. And the baby cries because another baby cries because they realize that crying.
Yeah, okay. So when you said what he was describing was cognitive empathy, and he said it is not a requirement to adopt their feelings, you were wrong?
Yeah, that's wrong.
Can you say that again? Because you were roboting for me. One more time.
All right. When he said it is not a requirement to adopt the other person's feelings, and in your definition, it is a requirement to adopt the person's feelings.
Wait, I never said. If you're talking about me, I never said.
In terms of cognitive empathy,
that doesn't make any sense.
Cognitive empathy, you take on. It's called perspective taking.
All right.
In terms of affective empathy, you just mirror. There's no need for understanding.
All right, but how do you mirror something?
Oh my God, he's gonna break down what mirroring.
The example is babies cry because other babies are crying, so they both feel sad without any understanding of what it is. Cognitive is with mind development, right? Is the development of like your consciousness and understandings of things. It's a whole theory called mind development.
Yeah, but you're confusing being empathetic with being agreeable.
All right.
Yo, what's
He's just saying anything, bro. He is just, yo.
All right, so
that was a top tier troll.
Maybe I made a mistake. When he said cognitive empathy, he attributed that to Incan, but that's not what Incan's describing. Incan's saying that when you're engaging with people or persons, what you do is you reflect on your own understanding and your own experiences, and then you resonate with this person in that way. Right?
Yeah, you cross-reference it, right? The only way you know.
A combination of both. And affective empathy, which is like total empathy, but you guys are trying to like fight on which one is which without like really setting up your definition.
We've done that like a long time ago.
I just got in. Well, not really. No, not really. No, actually, no. We haven't. Huey's the first one to bring up cognitive empathy, and he said affective empathy. No, I'm just being honest, bro.
Hold on.
Bro.
Yes or no? Yesterday, hold on. Yes or no? Yesterday, Samoa said it is a requirement to take the other person's quote unquote experience. Not
Understanding. Nope, you said understanding.
Who cares? Not you in their shoes, but how they feel in their shoes. That's what I said yesterday.
Yeah, and that's not an agreed definition because of the extent that you took that analogy to start talking about like how can it be their shoes if you don't have this information, right? When the analogy only serves to show like, hey, look, you have your own experiences and now you try to put yourself in this person's shoes. It's not like
you're doing your thing. I'm just making sure that you could like just confirm that what I'm saying was said yesterday. As far as it's not about you being in their shoes, it's about understanding how they feel while they're in their shoes.
Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, I feel like we're splitting hairs, but yeah.
That's putting yourself in their shoes.
No.
Exactly right.
No. So like you could put yourself in their situation, and then you can kind of like think about how you would navigate.
Yeah, that's the only option you have. That's the only option you have.
Just hold on. But then when they share their details of how they walk in their shoes, you'll see that their shoes don't actually fit you. Right? So when I say
taking a perspective.
Just hold on. So when I say it's not about how
isn't projecting my perspective though, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Sheila, when I say it's not you in their shoes, you knowing how they feel in their shoes. Like to me that's totally different than you in their shoes.
Okay.
Right, like you might not feel comfortable in their shoes, and they feel really comfortable in their shoes.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Samoa, because true empathy is knowing how someone feels. And I think what you're saying is, this is how I would feel if I was them. And
that's what he's saying.
Okay.
You can say that part.
Right. You're saying that true empathy, or what I feel you're saying is true empathy is not putting yourself in their shoes, but actually knowing how they feel.
In their shoes.
In their shoes.
Well, he said that empathy.
I said the same thing earlier, and you guys showed
Both effective and
Yeah, but you said Germanic conflation with it, and it didn't make no sense.
For this temporary shelter, but the balance is quickly broken. Amber is
I
dissatisfied
think,
with Gary's
I
every
think these
action,
language models are
leaving
killing
dishes
us.
in the wrong
Like,
place.
I don't remember saying
Kendo, you don't remember saying Germanic conflation, Kendo?
GPT,
can you guys
It's funny because I'm not gonna lie. One of the things I'm gonna be fundraising on Clubhouse for this year is to get my degree
Yes.
in psychology. So.
Ask Dr. Huey. Ask Dr. Huey if you said.
This is a 361 square foot.
Oh man.
Oh, yesterday, Kendo, you were going off yesterday. Germanic conflation, I'm not gonna lie, was the best time in the room.
We was dying, Kendo. It was the funniest thing we had heard all night.
Full-size kitchen.
That shit's intuitive. What the fuck?
Oven, microwave.
I'm just trying to remember like what.
This is all pre-installed.
If I remember what we were talking about when you said it, I'll tell you.
The closet divider and couch.
Does it sound like I just wanted like what was the main concept?
They were debating something and then you interrupted and you were asking them that they considered, and you went off on a bit of a diatribe and then you said, well, what about the Germanic?
You know what? Yeah. That was night before last.
That's hilarious as fuck. So it was completely.
It was so funny.
No.
I didn't have shit to do with that.
Interrupt them niggas.
Okay. He was like, "What about the fucking Neanderthalitic
Exactly
inflation?" They're like, "What the fuck?"
It's Neolithic, but go ahead.
I know.
That's literally what Mark does all the time.
What made the moment hilarious is that like the whole room was silent when you were doing it, Kendo. Everyone was trying to follow where you were going. And the pause between Germanic and conflation had everybody on pins and needles.
Perfect timing.
It was just the perfect time.
So it was a true what the fuck moment.
Perfect fucking timing.
What the fuck?
Talk to us,
but what about the Germanics?
Permission to talk for us.
Inflation. Like, what the fuck?
That price does go.
Absolutely.
You gotta have those moments, though. Them shit, that's funny.
Hey, yo, I have a question for Huey. Yo, Huey, why you be undermining all the fucking time, Huey? What the fuck, Huey?
That's just his accent.
Oh, I'm not
Hey,
trying to
Jaguar,
undermine you.
stop biting motherfucking style, nigga.
A lot of the times when you have debates, I actually agree with you. But the problem is, I think like.
Oh, damn, you heard that, Samoa? And I have most of my debates with you. That's bad, Samoa.
But you listen to the problem. The problem is you say stuff all the time as part of like your reinforcing arguments that I fundamentally disagree with, and I'm trying to figure out to what degree like are those like pillars or let's say posts underneath that like are disagreeable, like necessarily critical to your actual argument. Like, how is your argument contingent on those things, or
Are you questioning, as a joke, are you questioning his metaphysical substrate?
You guys are conflating again.
This is the point management. Like, if you agree with that, with the total outcome, it's like a high question.
You know what I think it is, Huey? I think that when I argue, I try to walk myself through the argument, right? And I don't have a great grip on it. I had a great grip on it. I can be more concise and exact, but I would also like to point out.
That's why I look, because it could be the case that like you finally reconcile this. That's why I tried to push you so hard to answer the objective question.
And I also don't have ChatGPT. I'm driving, so.
I don't have it either. I don't have it either. But look. The question of the day still remains, which I think is a really critical one for seeing whether or not I can or can't disagree with you. For me, at least, right? Which is this: how are you determining that, like, the projection that naturally happens as a function of, let's say, human cognition, right, is necessarily an interesting factor for empathy itself? Given how we're described, given the colloquial definition of empathy, given all of the other sort of definitive things about empathy, like, why is that necessarily, like, let's say, a necessary feature of empathy as opposed to, let's say, sympathetic projection, right?
Damn, that's a good question.
Wait,
Sympathetic projection is not a wait. Sympathetic projection would be like you saying, I can imagine feeling bad for someone. That would be sympathetic projection. But that's different from like saying, hey, if I was there.
Sympathetic projection would be something like, I see them going through this particular circumstance. This is how I would feel in this particular circumstance. So I can imagine they must feel that way in this particular circumstance.
Okay, so that's kind of like if you had empathy, but instead of like dealing with like the feeling part, you would just be descriptive about it, right?
No.
That would be the essential difference in it, right?
See, when you phrase a question like that, that's where the point of disagreement is, because you just embedded within it that's just like having empathy.
No. I'm saying like saying, for example, like I'd feel bad. Okay, so give me the example again where you did the sympathetic projection example.
Oh, and then let me follow up with this mirroring thing that I brought up.
Oh my God, bro! This guy hit up 3 landmarks.
And then let me follow up on Germanic conflation, because folks, I was cooking.
You watch a video of Israel-Palestine? You watch a video about Israel-Palestine, and you feel bad for those
Why
people.
did I Google it, Kendall?
Understand their
Chat GPT this. I was
yourself in the perspective.
Can you say it one more time?
It's like watching a video about like Palestinian kids being bombed, right?
Oh wow!
Yes. You don't understand and can't mirror their emotions, exact emotions, and you can't put yourself in their perspective, but you feel bad for them. That would be sympathetic, not empathetic.
Okay, I got you.
All right, so
can I ask you
No, but that's you personally, Haga, because some people can know. Some people do know some people would. They do feel in their heart. They know how those people feel, even though they've never experienced it. They feel like, or we feel like, we know what that will be like to experience that if we were there. We can understand, and that's true empathy.
Yes, that would make you empathetic, but I'm not saying that I don't understand the plight of the Palestinians. I'm using them as an example.
But that's not saying. What I'm saying is, I don't. That doesn't mean that just because I haven't lived through what they lived through doesn't mean that I'm only sympathetic and not empathetic. That doesn't mean that. And that's what I felt like you were saying.
Yourself may be cognitively empathetic because you can put yourself in that perspective. But I made the caveat of explaining a person who can't do that just feels bad for them.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, I got you. You're just saying it's not dependent on the information, but rather like
You're
like
not
them not taking that step.
Emotions,
It's a
not taking their
situation.
perspective.
Gotcha.
Right. I think Haggop is saying something like, there's
What's
a
the
step
difference?
that must be taken.
One
Haggop is saying,
step one, one step two.
all right. Haggop is saying there's a step that must be taken, and people disagree on what you need to do in order to take that step. But Haggop, he's just saying you have to
2 steps forward, 1 step back, as they say. Yeah.
I mean,
So
damn, maybe what I said was fucking dumb as hell. Did it make sense at all?
All right, so let's see if you guys agree here.
Let me give you my answer, right? I think you.
I gotta stop taking
right
so seriously.
That it would be some like personal channeling of emotion, right? Where like you, instead of just being like bad for them, right? Like kind of that makes me feel bad, right? When you're talking about like, it'd be like there'd be some point where you try to, like I don't say pretend, right? But just be like, imagine if I was that person, and you try to take in like what you know of what's happening, and then how you would feel, right, about that, right? It could also be that you feel bad, right? Could be the same outcome, right? Like I feel bad about it, right? But you've gone a couple of steps further, right? Than just assessing it and giving it some emotional value. You've assessed. The feeling that you get now is actually an outcome of your projection of how you would feel if that happened to you, right? Obviously, you're pretending that you're the kid, right? But inevitably, right, the part like that me and Samo are like, I think going back on forward is that's going to have to be done with projection, right? There's no. You're going to have
the walls caving in now. Okay.
No one on stage is going to agree with you and say that you can come into an understanding without projecting yourself. That's actually a function. There's not a single person on stage that will say that.
Do you remember when we were talking about Hollywood and how they worship the Babylonian mystery school system? No, I'm just trying to remember, help him remember what we were talking about when he said what he said. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. It don't have nothing to do with you.
I'm sorry.
It didn't have nothing to do with you. I just was telling you
something. They were having a conversation.
Okay, and they can continue. I just wanted to say that one thing to Kendo. It would have taken 15 seconds.
All right, so let's look at these scholars of psychology. We have Daniel Goldman, we have Rebecca Kine, and we have Elaine Moddard. So these three explicitly give you the definition. They say mirroring, emotional contagion, affective empathy is a foundation of empathy, where you see somebody that's sad, and this is superficial, this is surface level, and you can kind of mirror their sadness. But it is not empathy, because empathy has a requirement of adopting perspective. Like, how did this person become sad? Oh, they're sad because they lost a house. Hey, they're sad because their whole family died. Hey, they're sad because the Israelis bombed them. This person, I'm sad because I dropped my phone. These sads are not equatable.
Yeah, but at that point, you're not describing how you feel afterwards, right? Inevitably.
The first one was, you want to fast forward that? Oh, okay. So you are surrendering the empathy argument. Now you want to go to the projection.
No. What I'm trying to point out to you, right? You're skipping the part where where the person's going, like, inevitably what you're going to say is like giving all this data, right? Then there's this outcome, there's this thing that happens, and that qualifies as empathy. And I'm saying that thing is going to be like, now I feel this way about that because I put myself in their shoes accurately according to you. And I'm saying, okay, at that point, that can only happen, Samoa, if you project yourself into doing so. Otherwise, no way for you to look at the world, right? There's no way for you to like to feel about this, like about like how they're feeling, right?
Projection implies you're using your internal thoughts to tell how a person feels. Cognitive empathy is you taking their perspective. It's full understanding. Projective empathy is you putting your personal thoughts and most of the time misguided thoughts onto what they could be feeling, right?
Oh yeah, but I mean like for you to know, like my mother dies, right? Somebody says, "Hey, my mother died," right? And you have no way of if your mother didn't die, then that doesn't mean all of a sudden that you cannot relate to that person. Maybe not to a certain accuracy, right? But you're going to look at yourself and be like, look, what losses have I had? A mother's pretty high, so I'm not going to think about a distant cousin, how I felt when a distant cousin died. That's not going to be. It's going to be
Why
like,
did you cry during the baby movie?
Wait, don't Joe, chill out. I'm just trying to drive a point here, right? So it's not going to be a distant cousin. You're actually, let's say your brother died, right? You're going to try to see how you're going to be like, how did I feel when my brother died, right? To try to like have a proximity of how they feel, right? But your mother has never died, right? But you're going to have to scour your memory, your experiences for something that's like analogous to that, right? And even when you find something, you're going to be like, yeah, but in the case of my brother, maybe even more than that, right?
No,
and I'm saying that
you're merging both. You're merging both. That's not how it works. Like psychologically, they're very distinct, right? If you, God forbid, right, came to me and said your mother died, if I'm going to be cognitively empathetic towards you, I'm going to take the perspective in which you're in, which is, oh my God, my mother died. But if I project and say, hey, I know what it feels like to lose a cousin. And, losing a mother might be worse, is me making the assumption that it's worse for you, right? And taking on, like, my own internalized ideas of losing a cousin.
Yeah, he's projecting his situation over yours.
And stop trauma dumping, bro. Stop trauma dumping, bro.
My brother hasn't died, bro. Just chill out. My brother hasn't died. But like,
in every one of your examples, have you noticed how you're trying to compare your experiences to their perceived experiences?
You kind of have to do that, though, when you're taking a perspective. So I see where the confusion is.
Yes.
It's just...
Wait, why?
Because then how the fuck do you know what's bad? How do you know what's good?
That's where affective empathy comes.
That's what prevents you from knowing true empathy, because you're constantly only perceiving it from your life experiences. I, as a woman, have never given birth. If I watch a woman give birth, I'm not gonna look at a woman in pain giving birth and say, "Oh, I've never experienced that kind of pain. Let me compare it to tooth pain or back pain." No, I'm gonna look at that. Listen to what I'm saying. Because I'm an empath and I'm trying to get. Y'all are doing a whole bunch of Germanic conflation shit, but I am an empath, so I understand this. But anyway, the point is, even though I've never given birth to a child as a woman, if I watch a woman go through that, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna compare it to back pain or a toothache. I'm gonna look at the position she's in and I'm going to imagine how she feels going through what she is going through. I've never given birth. I don't know what that feels like. But I will put myself and I will say, and I can imagine. What'd you say, Simone?
Why do you have to imagine when you can allow her story to her unique experience?
Exactly. It's the trauma that you see the person going through that allows you to know what it is that they're feeling, right? You don't need to feel it. You can see the pain. You can see the struggle. You can see the trauma.
Do you agree every woman's experience is unique in the birthing process?
Yes.
All right. So then one woman to another woman, one woman can go through massive amount of pain, and another woman can go through zero amount of pain. So
yeah, maybe an orgasm, maybe even an orgasm. That's serious.
What's wrong with this dumbass?
No, I'm being serious.
Why not just say the taste of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
That's probably the worst place to think about that.
Why we go straight to like fucking? Y'all are weird.
Hey, yo, stop trauma dumping, bro.
Yeah, so
No, I
I mean,
have zero
so
empathy for anything. I'm just telling
what do you mean that you have to reflect on your own experiences, like when basically receiving theirs?
You have to draw emotion from something, right? So, like, you distinguish when you're being fully cognitive and, like, taking the perspective, you take the extra step of distinguishing your self-reflection from their experience, but you have to put yourself in some sort of understanding. It requires a level of projection in it.
Like a something like noticing like emotion, like, oh, that person's mad or that person's sad, like that.
Yes, and then you automatically relate it. You instinctually will probably have some level of projection of your feelings of when you were sad or when you were mad, etc. And then you then have to make the distinction of which one is your own self-reflection and which one is you taking the perspective. What do you mean? Of You that guys person. feed off of that shit.
No, like
Once you see somebody upset, y'all feed
No, I
off
got
that
mixed
shit.
a lot
No,
of sense.
I'm saying that I should be able to suspend it immediately. Me noticing that a person's mad because of their facial expressions or their body language, and that I recognize that, I don't really have to draw like what got me to that position to know this person's at that position. I'm immediately at the point where I'm now starting to receive this person's perspective. Like I'm
That's the
uploading it right now.
contagion. That's the contagion. That's affective. That's essentially mirroring. Like, if I see you crying, I'm going to start crying because you're crying. But I'm taking on your emotions without understanding your perspective.
Well, hold on. All right. So the mirroring part, well, I think you're talking about the action part, but I'm just talking about like the sadness part, like what you're actually recognizing. And then the empathy portion of this kind of kicks in when they start describing how they got to where they got. Because you might have got to where you got a whole different way. So why reflect on the way that you got there if it has nothing to do with the way that they got there? I guess that's my question.
That's when it becomes cognitive. This is my understanding of it, that they're both empathy. One is strictly emotional, which is affective, which is the mirroring without deeper understanding. And the cognitive is, like, again, perspective taking. You're taking that person's perspective, and it's probably a deeper, well, not probably, it is a deeper level of empathy. Both together become true. Can I get in here some more, please? Because I think this is going to answer your question, though. Because I actually have this issue. But go ahead.
No, do you think, bro?
You just cut off like that?
Some Germanic inflation.
I was dumb, bro. I just used a little too
that was
early.
like Nigerianic conflation.
That's Puerto Rican conflation. So She-Wolf, I'm going to tell you my issue, right? My main issue here is that I'm on empathy sometimes. The way other people react is I don't know empathy a lot of times. My wife tells me this. My doctor, my therapist, he tells me this. He says I lack it. He says he goes, very bad quality. He says you think you have it because you're acting upon how other people react towards you.
That's a narcissistic trait, Megatron.
You're a sociopath then. You're a sociopath. No. Listen, my father, when I went, this is the shit that I tell people. My father went blind. I didn't help him use the bathroom. I did this for like all through high school and even until he passed away in my 20s, right? So when I went through that situation, it's not saying that I was mad or anything. When I was younger, I was doing stuff, and my mom was out cheating on him. You know what I mean? Like, all those feelings all boiled in one. After going through shit like that, I'm saying to myself, like, people tell me stories, zero. Like, I have nothing for them. I'm looking at them with a blank state, like a blank stare, like, oh, your father beat you up? Yeah, my father used to beat me up too. And I'm looking at them like, okay, and?
Wow.
Like, I have nothing. I feel nothing. The only reason why I do it is because I've studied the way other people react.
Wow.
That's it.
This is like 2005 Joker vibes, bro. Oh, by the way,
No, this is textbook, like, narcissism. And I love Megatron. I don't even care if he's a narcissist. I'm going to still love him. But I think That is I'm not going to say you're a narcissist, but that is a textbook characteristic of narcissism. That doesn't make you a narcissist.
The only person out there because
right? No, I trust me, I know.
Yeah. When you deal with people that have been possibly brutally raped, they look at you when you say, "Oh, well, my father used to be real nasty to me, or he never told me he loved me." Like they're gonna look at you and give you this blank stare of like, and it's gonna be from an abyss. It's not gonna be from anywhere. They're not gonna be able to. It's not narcissistic. They're just not gonna be.
Megatron, when you listen to other people talk about like their trauma or whatever, something that's happened to them, and you're listening to them, does it make you feel like how can I explain it? Does it make you feel like you're feeling something?
No, I have to.
You don't feel anything?
Like, so my wife tells me this because she looks at me to talk to me. And she tells me, she's like, not everybody's going to know your situation. This is what she tells me. Just because you went through shit, you can't expect everybody to understand the severity of shit that you went through so that you don't have to have empathy for other people. And I'm like, and I tell her, I'm like, it's not that. It's just that, like, my response is like, they gotta grow the fuck up. They gotta, she's like, yeah, but not everybody's the same. So this is the response I get from my wife. I've been with her for 16 years. Not that I don't do this for her. I love her. I have empathy for her when I shouldn't. You know what I mean? But when it comes to other people, normal, conversation or whatever, when people try to tell me their issues, I just have this blank face. Like, I just can't. Yeah, you're selective with your empathy, which probably means you have difficulty with cognitive empathy. When your kid stubs his toe, you feel sad, right? Yes. That's my kid, though. That's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that goes to show that you can understand and know the feeling, and that's why you're empathetic, but you're selective with who you're empathetic for or with. No, like, you're using these terms interchangeably now. So in the example you just gave, your kid stubbed his toe. You stubbed your toe before, right? Right. So you know what that person's going through. No, you don't. Right? Like, you know what you went through, but you don't know what the kid went through. Like, you're being sympathetic because you guys share an emotion to something that both of you experienced in common. So, like, if you look into your little into the effect of like empathy, it says this is the foundation